Born and raised in Meriden, Connecticut. I went to local public school. I'm sitting in a classroom that I attended about 45 years ago when I started school, John Berry Elementary School. And it's the place where I chose to stay, where my wife and I chose to raise our kids. This is home.
Interesting enough, when I was in 8th grade, we saw a connection. I thought he was cute, he thought I was cute. And of course, coming from a strict Puerto Rican household, I was not allowed to date, but literally ended up marrying my middle school crush.
My grandfather was a sugarcane farmer, and he ended up cutting tobacco here in Connecticut and formed strong roots into this community. You know, my father was a police officer for 32 years, so he was serving the community, and my brother and my sister and I saw that, and it must have, you know, impacted us. My brother became a police officer, my sister's a social worker for schools, and I became the teacher.
He's full of energy. He lights up a room, any room that he walks into, always giving back to the community, always celebrating his multicultural backgrounds, being bilingual, never being afraid to show where he comes from.
He stood out as a teacher, and then he became a principal. And I was so proud when he became Commissioner of Education in Connecticut.
And then the pandemic hit. Rolled up my sleeves, worked with folks from all over the state to reopen schools, and that put me on President Biden's radar because we did it quicker and safer than other states. I just took it as a blessing and was so thrilled, you know, to be able to serve in that capacity. I signed up to change public education, to improve access and outcomes, and I was ready for a fight. So when I walked in a room with my colleagues from CHCI, there was a sense of familia, you know, power. There was power, there was support in that room. So when we fought to reopen schools, within 9 months, we had over 97%. We were ensuring that social emotional well-being was taken care of for our students, providing $190 billion in aid for our schools. Only half of Congress voted for that, but 100% of the students in this country benefited from it. In terms of social workers, reading teachers. There were more students in summer school during the Biden-Harris administration than in the history of our country. More students accessing after-school programs than in the history of our country. I'm proud of the $190 billion in debt relief. 5 million people in this country got debt relief. We keep talking about wanting to elevate the profession. You do that by focusing on what I call the ABCs of teaching, providing educators with agency, better working conditions, and competitive salary. Because when we take care of our educators, we take care of our students. You know, I'm sitting in a classroom in a district that is currently 85% free and reduced lunch. Yet, I went from here to advise the president on behalf of 65 million students. That's the power of public education. Yeah, it's tough right now, but how blessed are we that we're chosen to lead at this time when students need us the most? And I could walk around, you know, woe is me. Instead, I think about the sacrifices of those that came before me, who gave up a hell of a lot more than I'll ever have to give up, just so that I could be in this position to fight.
He loves seeing students succeed, instilling self-confidence in every student. You know, there were moments in his life where he had some naysayers, you know. Early on, he was called Michael. He was not called Miguel. Finally, he asked the secretary, can you please pull up my transcript? What does it actually say on there? And they said, oh, it says Miguel. And he said, can you just make sure that everyone calls me Miguel Angel Cardona from this day forward? It's exciting just seeing the little Miguel to now where he's become a great leader in our community.
I love the way he supports bilingual education and calling it a superpower. We all knew that, but he came out in public and really made the statement because of what he stands for in education.
I still have the same sense of urgency that I had when I was a 4th grade teacher. The work is never done. I almost feel that I'm failing if I don't use every moment, every letter after my name, every title that I have to push for those kids who right now are under attack, who don't have a voice, shame on me if I don't get up with energy to fight for them, because that was me. You know, I always used to say education was a wilted flower. Schools were closed, there was a lot of mental health issues. And then we became the master gardeners that brought it back to life. That's our role, to really lift up education and make it from a flor pálida to a vibrant rose. To me, it's a powerful symbol of we are descendants of folks who tilled the soil, of farmers, of field workers. We are the descendants of them. And now we're doing different type of gardening. We're gardening education and we're bringing it back to life. We are the master gardeners that our children need.